What I do? I am a Taekwondo instructor for an outreach program here in the city I live in. I see one group of students once a week for 45 minutes each class time. Let's talk about enforcement of rules, policies, regulations. I constantly must remind and enforce my policies in my dojang. It has to be done. I have to stay on top of it to make sure no BS happens, and that my class will run smoothly. I talked about foundation, fundamentals in the very first video I had here, my introduction. And once you establish that, enforcement must happen. Enforcement. Keep reminding and enforcing your policies, your rules, and your regulations. If you do not do that, the students will start to think, okay, the teacher is not talking about it anymore. Maybe the thing has changed, the policy has changed. No. For example, I do require that my students bow in and out at the door before coming in and leaving the dojang. That's tradition. My class is based on Taekwondo tradition. As much tradition as I can put into the class, as much as I can. I don't see them more than once a week unless they travel to me, and then that part's to be getting taken care of. But for the ones that don't travel, I have to constantly remind. Assistants watching, you must also keep on them as well. Keep the behavior in the drill lines when they're doing their kicking drills, their punching drills. Keep the behavior proper and enforce rules. Don't be afraid of success. Don't be afraid to get in there and tell them you're doing it wrong. I'm not trying to turn you into a mean person, but rules have got to be enforced. If you must be firm, you must be firm. This is a practice for you, assistant. This is how I learned. I learned to be firm, but I'm relatively a nice person. I have a fun time in class. So enforcement of your policies. So having a good demeanor, as I talked about in the other video, it will tie into this. Have a nice soft demeanor. Be warm, talk softly, don't yell. But there are times when enforcement must happen and you must raise your voice. Good example. Was it this Wednesday? Yes, it was Wednesday. A student had a birthday, and the parents brought in cupcakes for the class to share with the other students. Class ended. We recited our usual tenets of Taekwondo and other sayings I made them memorize. And I explained to them, okay, ladies first, make a single file line at the table where the cupcakes are. These kids today, they were on a sugar rush before they even ate the cupcakes. So they rushed to the table and they were hounding it, trying to get their spot in line. And I marched over, I raised my voice at the loudest I could do it. Everyone stop. My phrase was stop. The loudest I could get it. And guess what? We all stopped. Straight face. And I just repeated how I wanted them to line up. They all freeze. They looked at me and then they followed directions. I've done that, of course, other times in my teaching career, but there comes a time when enforcement must happen. And after I was done, everybody left with a they left happy because they knew that they done messed up. They were too rowdy, and I got angry. So enforcement, it does require a firmness that has to come out from inside of you. If I just went to someone random and shouted without putting the proper emotion behind it, or without putting myself behind it, this is hard to explain. And you have to put your emotions, yourself behind your demeanor, behind your commands. Otherwise, it's just a little doggy trying to bark at you, all bark and no bite. From inside of you, your emotions, you should be able to get that out. Get that out. Is there a process to do it? Yeah. You keep practicing until it becomes permanent. You keep practicing that. It takes a while because it's your emotions. I can't tell you how to bring out your emotions. I'm not even feeling what you're feeling. Anger is too easy. Anger is really too easy. If you get angry at students, one of two things can happen. They get scared of you, or they don't care about you being angry. They're either scared, start crying, then never come back to your class, or they don't care because there's not enough of yourself behind the loud voice. I'm gonna have to think about this, possibly make it my next video about this. Put yourself, put your emotions behind it. If I could use this example, Bruce Lee, when you punch, he also said to put your hip into it. And any martial artist here listening to me, you know what that means. Put your weight into it by turning your hip. So you're not just punching with your arm, and your fist. You're also putting your body into it by exploding the hip. Exploding the hip to put your body weight behind it. Same thing comes with your enforcement. There comes a time when the happy face has to become an enforcer. Straight-faced, enforce the policy so that students know that they messed up. Students know that they are doing something wrong. And the only way to get this is to just practice and practice it and practice it more. Okay? So enforcement of rules, enforcement of policies. Me, I know and I feel I have to stay on top of it. I have to. Otherwise, my entire structure, as in the other video I made, my entire structure is going to crumble. It's going to crumble. And once your structure crumbles, your class will no longer run smoothly. So for a good structure comes enforcement of policies. Enforce it first softly, then if that's not going to work, get firm and put yourself behind it. Get your emotions to come out and let them feel it. So the student must become empathetic to what you're feeling. Empathy is feeling another person's feelings. So you have to make your student empathetic to what you're feeling. If you're angry, disappointed, and you have this firm emotion coming out, once they feel that, you did your job, and then they know, oh, I made a mistake, I can't do this again. And of course, if they revert back to their behavior, get firm again, get on their butt. Find the happy balance between shouting angrily and very nice. Oh, I'm so. Oh, are you okay? No, you just stop behaving like that. This class is the happy balance between being angry and being too nice. Right there, the happy balance. That's where you're firm, mean, but you're still not angry. Right there, right there. If you can get that balance down, most students will listen to you. Okay? That's all I got. I'll see you next time.